Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Supreme Court today addressed the need for regulation of online content while hearing the case against YouTuber Ranveer Allahbadia. Now, during the hearing, Chief Justice of India's Justice Surikant noted that it was strange that individuals could launch their own channels and operate without any accountability online. I'm going to quote what exactly he said. So I create my own channel. I'm not accountable to anyone. Somebody has to be accountable. This is what he said, expressing concerns about the unchecked user generated content online. Now, the case stems from multiple first information reports which were registered against Allahabadia and several other digital creators for jokes made on his show India's Got Latent. Now, the complaints allege that the content insulted religious sentiments and disrespected women. Now, what happened in the court today? Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, he told the bench that the issue at hand was one of perversity rather than obscenity, and he warned that creators cannot act without boundaries under the pretext of free expression. And he also said, Tushar Mehta said that the right to speech has to be respected. Suppose there is a program, if it has an adult content, so some warning in advance must be there. This is what Chief Justice responded to. But what happened ultimately, Justice Joy Malia Bagchi noted that although free speech is protected right, it remains a regulated one, and content that threatens national unity, integrity, or sovereignty can justifiably be curtailed. And I'll quote what Justice Bagchi also said, that where the content is perceived as anti national or disruptive of society's norms, will the creator take responsibility for it? That was question number one he raised. Then he asked, will self regulation be sufficient? The difficulty we are facing is the response time. Once the scurrilous material is uploaded, by the time the authorities react, it has gone viral to millions of viewers. So, how do you control that? Then Chief Justice also added that warnings and disclaimers in shows are not effective, and said that there have to be age verification methods. This is what he said. Then Justice Surikant also cautioned the creators that they and their team need to be very careful in the future, because he said that someone was making comments in Canada also, and we know all of this. So he mentioned about that as well. Then Chief Justice also said what would refrain from imposing a fine on the content curators and influencers involved in the case if they submitted a proposal to make a donation to a reputable institution. So, how do you decode this observation made by Chief Justice of India, Justice Surikant today? What does it mean for the social media online content? Joining me this evening is Supreme Court lawyer Sanjay Hegde. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We have Prashant Kanodia, who's a writer and an independent journalist. Thank you so much for joining. And we have TK Rajlakshmi, a senior editor in the Frontline. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi, for joining. And I'll begin with Mr. Sanjay Hegde. Mr. Hegde, what does it really mean, even though it's an observation which Justice Surikant made, but does it mean that somewhere down the line now we see the beginning of the throttling of the social media?
Well, there have always been, what shall we say, desires and attempts to do so. But this is a new phenomenon, and the contours of it have never been clearly delineated. The platforms have their own moderation policies. Now, many people try to censor other content by using the platform's own policies, saying, "Look, there is a copyright violation. Bring down this content, and we or this goes against your platform policy on hate speech. Bring that down." That's one thing at the a platform level, but at a societal and governmental level, where do you draw the line? And if you draw a line, can you enforce it? You may be able to to say block sites or platforms. You've blocked TikTok, for instance. But then instead of going on TikTok, people have gone on Meta and posted content which they've also posted on TikTok. The what the Chief Justice has said shows that the judiciary is not averse to some methodology of both curation, as well as curation, moderation, as well as possible censorship of that which is deemed dangerous. Dangerous refers to what Justice Bagchi probably said, anti-national and things like that. However, the truth of it technically is that most attempts to regulate the internet have failed, except in societies where the internet operates like a walled garden. If you are in North Korea, you may be able to regulate the internet,
Hmm.
but even China and the Russian Federation have not really succeeded. People have gone through VPNs, people have gone through various other things.
Yeah.
So I do doubt that the judiciary is expressing a pious wish and a hope, but it has not been fully technically briefed yet.
Right. But what if there is a proposal for a neutral authority which starts regulating the online content? Because self introspection also hasn't helped a bit. No kind of warnings or any kind of disclaimers. They have helped so far. So, do you think that maybe the problem can be rectified a little if there is some kind of a neutral authority which addresses the concerns?
Well, an authority may be set up and it may attempt to address the problem, but I have my doubts. It can't
All right.
succeed for the entirety of the net. But
Yeah.
certain gross cases, maybe it will.
Right.
And a independent authority will necessarily then take it out of the babus at MeitY or whichever other regulating ministry
Yeah.
that the government currently proposes. The government
Right.
has come out with digital content rules, but those rules have also been challenged in various courts.
Yes.
And the bench was told that those challenges are pending. Maybe you have to transfer them to your bench, or maybe you should wait for the high courts to give their verdicts and then look at the whole thing in appeal.
Right. Okay. So let me come to Prashant Kanodia, who's a writer, who's a journalist, who also went to jail because he put out a post on Yogi Adityanath. Prashant, how do you see this observation by the Chief Justice, who's saying that somebody has to be accountable? How can you allow everything to go online? What are your views on this observation made by the Supreme Court today?
No, I have a problem with this because as a citizen, as a social media user, as a writer, as a possible creator, I would say when government is saying that we need to have a regulatory body or someone to basically look into what is being posted on online or what people are watching, basically, I have always a doubt, as Sanjay sir said, I always have a doubt on the independence of such bodies because we already have a lot of independent body in India, Election Commission of India, uh, Human Rights Commission, NGT. We know how they work, how we know that how the appointments are made, and basically all these so-called independent organizations are basically part and parcel of government bodies. They work according to the government. They basically work on the whims and the wishes of what the supreme leader wants. So it definitely it's gonna be a very bad thing for the democracy because I was just watching TV before coming to this debate that a lot of anchors are rejoicing over that now there will be a regulatory body to control the online platforms. The
Hmm.
problem is what from the
You mean to say
decade I would
anchors? You are saying, Prashant, the TV anchors are rejoicing that there'll be
yeah
some
yeah
kind of.
they're rejoicing.
Okay.
Absolutely, because problem is what they've been enjoying their decade long the licensed oligopoly in TV and print media, and what internet does, it's democratize the space for subaltern medias, for Dalits, for minorities who could basically come up and start their own YouTube channels. They don't have to be under the thumb of the corporate media or the corporate content platforms where they couldn't be performing the way they are doing right now, and we all are witnessing There are on social media. If you go on social media, there are a lot of subaltern medias which are responsible for bringing more stories from the hinterlands of India to the mainstream of Delhi. So basically they're afraid of that, and internet basically demolishes the privilege they were enjoying from centuries. And I think the moment you start regulating it slowly and gradually, it will convert into censorship. Every dictatorship starts with let's stop the worst thing. Slowly and gradually it will become let's stop the worst and the things we disagree on. And it doesn't stop because humans have their own biases, and all these babus are incompetent. They are incompetent from 90, from after independence. They haven't been able to do any great thing in this country apart from curtailing the liberty, the basic privilege what we have due to the Constitution of India guarantees us. And
Right.
it will be a gross mistake from the government side if they, or the Supreme Court, if they allow such thing, because the moment you put censorship regulatory body, you're done, you're gone, your creativity freedom has gone. I was talking earlier to you that being a writer, I have seen how censorship is working right now. There is no censorship in US. There is no censorship in abroad. They have a rating system. Why can't you have a rating system? It's up to the people. Why you're doubting your own citizen? As a Supreme Court judge, he should not doubt its own citizen. And what sort of insecure regime does that? Doubting your own citizen is a biggest gross mistake.
Hmm. All right. So let me come to Raj Lakshmi. How do you see this? Are we seeing those times where probably we're going to have a web content regulator as well, and no more will there be freedom, the kind of freedom everybody has enjoyed so far to write anything on the social media, to put out any templates? Are we going to see those times where the social media is going to be leashed? The very fact that the Supreme Court has made an observation like this, how dangerous is it?
I mean, I think it's very strange that such observations were made in the first place. Of course, the context, I think, refers uh, to uh, to maybe because I think the content was about some, I think, unsavory remarks about about disabled people. So one can say that it's in bad taste. So there has to be I think an element of proportionality also when certain when certain sections of the laws are applied, right? We have already plethora of laws, whether it's the IT Act and rules, whether it's a Copyright Act, which Sanjay also referred to, or in fact IPC sections are there, right? In which the government can sort of take down content under the IT under 69A of the IT Act, right? It can, it can take down content if it feels that that content is sort of affecting national security, sovereignty, or friendly relations with other nations. So all those things, all those provisions are already inbuilt, and they are being used a lot. In fact, they've been used a lot out of, I think, proportion also a lot. I mean, and those things are being questioned today. In September, several videos were taken down about in fact those relating to to critiquing a particular industrialist whose name one should not take anymore, right? I mean, and it involved the works of prominent YouTubers, like Ravish and Dhruv Rathi, etc. So it's already happening, and in fact prior to that also, in the wake of the uh, Pahalgam attack, there were strictures issued, and several YouTube channels were told not to air certain kinds of material that the government felt might give it a poor image, or might, whatever reason it is. So there are already so many controls. So I do not see the reason, and in fact those controls are really far-reaching, and they're quite disproportionate. I mean, who is going to define what is anti-national? It's such a subjective thing today. I mean, anybody can file a FIR. Anybody can go to court saying that particular channel hurt my sentiment, or that particular show was anti-national, right? While on the other hand, we have people who get away with all kinds of comments, make all kinds of communal comments, make all kinds of divisive comments, all kinds of vociferous comments, and just get away with
Yeah.
get away with murder, in a sense. Yes, internet has, in fact, has the potential of democratizing views and opinions, and it's an excellent thing. Now I think information, it's very difficult to stop information coming out in that sense, and people look for news, from the small YouTubers and the small channels. Yes, some of them may not be sort of politically correct, but if they, yes, if they indulge in hate speech or any kind of divisive content, etc., if they have divisive content, there are laws of the land to deal with those. So I do not see where this whole vacuum of understanding was coming today in the courts, in which it said
Yeah.
that what is happening, this need to regulate. I mean, what do we need now more? What more do we need? We are already a highly surveilled, highly regulated society, in which people are even afraid to speak their minds because of fear, being trolled, being called anti-national, being maybe hauled up in some jail or hauled up in the courts. So that kind of an atmosphere is already prevalent. So I do not think there's any need to go overboard, even in the form of any extra supra, sort
Right.
of regulatory body to
Right.
regulate content. That is already
Yeah.
sort of happening, Nilu, as I said, under existing
Exactly.
laws and
I
statutes.
want to come to Mr. Hegde now, and then for the final round of questions to both of you. Mr. Hegde, Chief Justice has said that adult oriented content should include warnings and parental controls, then also suggesting the possibility of an autonomous body that could determine what content should be permitted during an interim period. Now, this whole idea is to differentiate between like perversity and obscenity. Now, do you think that the observations today, which were made by the Chief Justice of India, does it indicate that we will see an era of an autonomous bodies, a so-called autonomous body, which is going to regulate the web content? And now the web creators will have to really be very, very cautious. You have to unmute, sir. Mr. Hegde, just unmute yourself, sir, please. Yeah. So you'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah. 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 Uh, you're not able to unmute. Fine, fine. Now it's okay.
Okay, can you hear me
Uh,
now?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. No, so web creators are already careful. You ask Prashant here. He
Yeah.
will possibly not say some things about Uttar Pradesh, while he may say things about other places. So that no, that reminds me of a old शेर by Firak, who said, अब अक्सर चुप चुप से रहे हैं, बस यूं ही कभी उलब खोले हैं, पहले फिराक को देखा होता बहुत कम बोले हैं.
Hmm.
That exactly describes the kind of chilling effect
Yeah,
that police action has. It is not as if the government or the governments do not have danda. They use it when they want. But what they want from the courts is a kind of advance license, an advance blessing, saying that the Supreme Court has asked us to try and regulate, and therefore we are regulating. That is the real danger. And the Supreme Court, in my view, should not fall into it. There was a particular program which, to my mind, was tasteless. But then a lot of humor is tasteless. A lot of humor is at the expense of somebody. Of course, comedians have their own what shall we say, their own rules where traditionally they don't punch down, they punch up, they punch against people who are at a higher level. But be that as it may, that may be an infraction. You punish that particular infraction. For these kind of infractions, to put the entire system into further jeopardy at the instance of a government which already has a gun, that I think is doing disservice to the constitutional value of freedom of speech.
Yeah. All right. So, Prashant, I'll come to you now. Are you scared? Are you worried that today's observations are really a dangerous start to something which we've been fearing, but it might become a reality?
Definitely, we people have been made an example to the rest of the people that the moment you start speaking, you will be set an example. Problem is not the legal battle we are fighting. It's been there, and we know that we're gonna be winning that battle anyhow. The problem is the police brutality. I don't know many people know that I don't have teeth on my left cheeks because it was being broken by the third degree. So still, I don't have teeth. I have to eat from this side. So the problem is police brutality. The problem is the torture we face, and the problem is the process we go through. That's the problem. Not everyone is privileged as me to have a great lawyer representing me in the court. Most of the people coming from a rural background or running their subaltern media channel or YouTube channel will be basically having a lot of problem because such censorship or regulation basically impacts people who are coming from the lower side, not the people who are coming from, because they have all the tools and means to basically manipulate the law and the government as well as I think they are trying to create a sense of fairness among the creators or the individual artist or the subaltern media to not to raise voice, not to punch up, because as Sanjay sir says, the most of the comedians, even we were discussing about the camera or me other comedians who basically the basic idea of comedy is to not make you laugh. The 50% job is to make you laugh, and 50% is to basically shakes you up from the ignorance or from the in the ignorance you're feeling, you're dealing every day, that a lot of things are happening around you that social media tells you about. And you look at the TV, especially TV are the basically the most weaponized thing in today's era, that the most of the divisive contents are being delivered through TV. And I would say when I was in jail, I saw inmates divided on the communal line, not because there was any leader coming for the election rally. It was TV. It was TV doing, and we have seen regularly how the authorities and we have failed to act against the hate spinning, venom spinning anchors who were basically. I could name everyone: the Ruby Kalyakar, the Anjana Kashyap, Aman Chopra, Amish Devgan. They've been every day on their screen. They've been shouting, rapidly spreading venom in the society, and no action has been taken. And now you're going to be prosecuting people who don't have resources, who don't have privileges. So you will be happy. It gives you a power ego trip. Good luck for you.
All right, Rajlakshmi, concluding comments on this story. Yeah.
Yeah, what can one say, Nilu, after hearing what Prashant had to sort of go through? It's really sad, and it shows that if you can sort of buy your way through, then democracy works for one. If you can't, then you're out there. Completely thrown to the wolves, and a single brush with the law can be so scarring for anybody for that matter. But then those who can afford it, those who are well heeled in what we call as well heeled, they are able to afford the best lawyers. They're able to afford the best. Anyway, I didn't go into all that, but we know that who are the kind of people who actually are the receiving end, of the law enforcers in that sense, and also of the courts at the end of the day. But yeah, so this is all very, this whole thing about, and as Prashant said, there are people from our biradri, as we know, who spew hate, on a daily basis, who sort of thrive on that, on that culture of hate, and for whom TRPs matter. Maybe it translates into higher incomes for them. Anyway, whatever it is, but those are the people who need to be hauled up, and not comedians who actually are in fact making political satire, most of the time. And yes, in fact, if something is distasteful, you call it out. But there's no need to invoke, criminal provisions. Are already talking about how this needs to be regulated further. As I said, we're already living in a fear psychosis kind of a atmosphere where everybody is doubly and trebly careful about what to say and what not to say. essentially.
Absolutely. In
So,
fact,
so
there
deep
have been,
impact on our societies
yeah,
is the question ultimately.
yeah. In fact, there have been ample examples of how people have been sent to jail. Prashant Kanoja is one of
Yes,
those sitting
torture
amongst
people. Yeah.
us as part of the panel. But
Mhm.
as Mr. Hegde said, that already the online content creators are very careful about the kind of templates they are making, about what they speak, about what they ask. Already there is so much of caution, and now with this observation that we need a regulator, uh, could, I don't know what is it going to lead to for the social media. It's very difficult to say at the moment, but we'll have to wait and watch, and rather keep a keen watch on what's going to develop on this particular front. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Prashant, Rajalakshmi. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining.
Thank you, Neelu.
Thank you.